This is A11, Simplifying Rational Expressions, the example video. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to find the greatest common factors or factor both my numerator and denominator. So I've got 8x cubed divided by 20x. So I know I can't factor these, but I can find a greatest common factor. So I know both of these are divisible by 4x. So when I take a 4x out of the top, I'm left with 2x squared. And when I take a 4x out of the bottom, I'm left with 5. So, since I have a 4x up top and a 4x down bottom, I can cancel them out. So I'm left with 2x squared over 5. Okay? So that is my simplified rational expression. But now I need to state what the excluded value or values are. Okay? So in order to do that, I'll put an EV here for excluded value. I'm going to take my denominator, which happens to be 20x, and set it equal to 0. So to get the x by itself, if I divide by 20, I get x equals 0 divided by 20. So 0 divided by 20 is 0. So x cannot equal 0. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at the second example. So I've got p squared minus 10p plus 9 over p minus 9. So what I'll do is I'll try to factor the top. So I'll use AC. So I know my A is 1, my C is 9, and 1 times 9 is 9. So factors of 9 that add up to negative 10 are negative 1 and negative 9, which is negative 10, which works. Okay, so I can rewrite the top as p minus 1 times p minus 9 over p minus 9. So I've got a p minus 9 up top and down bottom, so I can cancel them out. So I'm left with p minus 1. So now I'll find my excluded value, or values. So I'll take my denominator, and set it equal to 0. So p minus 9 equals 0. So if I add 9 to both sides, these 9's cancel out right here. So I know p cannot equal positive 9. If it does, my denominator would be 0. Okay? So again, 2 answers for each problem. Okay, pause the video if you need more time. Okay, so I need to factor the top and the bottom, so I'll factor the top. So a times c, so I know my a is 1, my c is negative 6. So a times c is negative 6, so I'm looking for factors of negative 6 that add up to negative 1. So if I do negative 3 and 2, I get negative 1, so those are my factors. So down here, I'll rewrite my top as m minus 3 and m plus 2. And now I'll do AC down here. So I know my A is 1, and my C is negative 8. So A times C is negative 8. So I'm looking for factors of negative 8 that add up to negative 2. So I know negative 4 and 2 are going to be my factors. So I can rewrite my denominator as m plus 2 times m minus 4. So I've got an m plus 2 down bottom as well as up top. So I know my simplified rational expression is going to be m minus 3 over m minus 4. Okay, and now for excluded values, I'll take my denominator, which is m squared minus 2m minus 8, but again I factored it down here, to m plus 2 times m minus 4, and I'll set it equal to 0. So I've got case 1, m plus 2 equals 0, and I've got case 2, m minus 4 equals 0. So if I solve for m for both of these, subtract 2 from both sides, I get m equals negative 2. And if I add 4 to both sides, I get m equals 4. So I know as part of my excluded values, m cannot equal negative 2 or 4. Perfect. So now I'll move on to my next one. So first what I'll do, I'll take out my greatest common factor. So I know up top I can take out an n, and that leaves me with n squared plus 4n minus 12 all over, I can take out a 2n, and that'll leave me with n squared minus 6n plus 8. So I'll do AC on the top. So A times C, my A is 1, my C is negative 12. So 1 times negative 12 is negative 12. I'm looking for factors of negative 12 that add up to 4. So I can do negative 2 and positive 6. I believe that equals 4. So I can rewrite my top as n times n minus 2 times n plus 4. Now if I go down here, I'll find, or I'll factor my, or continue to factor my denominator. So A times C is going to be 1 times 8, which is 8. So I need factors of 8 that add up to negative 6. So negative 4 and negative 2 will work. So I can rewrite my denominator as 2n times n minus 2 times n minus 4. Okay, so now I can see what I can cancel. I can cancel out an n minus 2. I can also cancel out an n. So my final simplified rational expression is going to be n plus 4 divided by 2 times n minus 4. As for my excluded values, I know n cannot equal, if you take a look at case 1, 2n equals 0, so n cannot equal 0. N minus 2 equals 0, so n cannot equal 2. And n minus 4 equals 0, so n cannot equal 4. So it turns out there are 3 excluded values for this one rational expression.